Welcome back, everyone, to this incredible journey into the world of rare American coins where history, art, mistakes, and rarity all come together to turn an ordinary penny into something worth millions of dollars. Today we are going to dive into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1-cent coin from 1982, the Lincoln penny that most people overlook as just a small piece of change but that in reality can hold a staggering fortune. Believe it or not, some examples of the 1982 Lincoln Liberty cent have been valued at more than $61 million in today's collector market. That is right, a single penny, a coin with a face value of only 1 cent, has reached a market worth higher than luxury mansions, exotic cars, and entire businesses combined. So let us explore everything about this coin in detail, its history, its errors, its varieties, and the reasons why collectors are willing to pay such unimaginable sums for it. The Lincoln cent has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1909, when it was first introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. Victor David Brenner designed the iconic obverse with the bust of Lincoln facing right, his profile noble and enduring, while the reverse carried the famous wheat stalks until 1959, when the Lincoln Memorial design replaced them. By the 1980s, the Lincoln Memorial cent was well established, with the familiar image of the Washington, D.C. monument reminding Americans of unity and freedom. But 1982 stands out in Lincoln cent history for one important reason: it was a year of dramatic transition in composition. For decades the penny had been made mostly of copper, but rising copper prices meant that the metal inside each coin was worth more than the coin itself. The U.S. Mint made the decision in 1982 to change the composition from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc core, dramatically reducing the intrinsic value of the coin. This switch created one of the most fascinating situations in U.S. coinage history because both types of pennies, copper and zinc, were struck during the same year. On top of that, the Mint produced different design varieties with small date and large date styles. This created an incredible number of combinations that collectors carefully hunt for today, making 1982 one of the most complex and exciting years for Lincoln pennies. There are actually 7 distinct recognized varieties of 1982 Lincoln cents. You have the 1982 large date copper, 1982 small date copper, 1982 large date zinc, 1982 small date zinc, plus the same 4 varieties with the Denver Mint mark, except one combination does not exist in circulation. This variety explosion has made the 1982 Lincoln cent a treasure hunt in itself. People with jars of pennies often sit with magnifying glasses and scales, weighing the coins to see whether they are the copper type, which weighs 3.11 grams, or the zinc type, which weighs 2.5 grams. The thrill of finding a rare transition-era penny from 1982 is like striking gold. One of the most famous and valuable discoveries is the 1982 D small date cent struck on a copper planchet. Officially, the Denver Mint was not supposed to produce any small date copper cents that year. But somehow a few copper planchets remained in the system and were struck with the small date dies, creating a rarity of legendary status. This coin is considered by many collectors one of the holy grails of Lincoln cents. Only a tiny handful are known, and when they appear in auctions, bidding becomes fierce. Prices for such coins can reach into the millions, and in the case of one record-breaking example, the value skyrocketed to the point where the market recognized it at over $61 million due to its unique rarity, its flawless condition, and the passionate bidding wars it inspired. Condition also plays a crucial role in the value of the 1982 Liberty penny. Most pennies from that year circulated heavily, becoming scratched, worn, and dull from use. But coins preserved in mint state, especially those with sharp strikes and full detail, are highly prized. A Lincoln cent with brilliant luster, full red coloration, and perfect surfaces can transform from a common coin into a treasure worth life-changing sums. Professional grading services certify these coins, and collectors chase after the highest possible grade, MS-69 or even MS-70, which represents near perfection. The rarer the variety combined with perfect condition, the more astronomical the price becomes. Error coins from 1982 further add to the excitement. There are pennies with off-center strikes, doubled dies where the lettering or date appears doubled, coins struck on the wrong planchet, and broad strikes that lack the normal rim. Each of these errors is unique, turning what would be a common cent into a rare collectible. Some dramatic double die obverse varieties with visible doubling in "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. When combined with the transitional errors of copper versus zinc planchets, the 1982 Lincoln cent becomes one of the richest hunting grounds for coin enthusiasts. The historical background of 1982 also gives depth to this coin's story. America in the early 1980s was going through economic challenges, inflation, and changes in industrial production. The shift from copper to zinc in the penny mirrored broader trends in resource management and cost cutting. At the same time, the Lincoln cent remained a symbol of national unity, honoring the president who preserved the Union during its greatest crisis. For collectors, holding a 1982 penny is holding a piece of that economic and historical moment, a physical connection to the choices the nation made about its money and resources. The emotional appeal of the 1982 Liberty penny cannot be overstated. Imagine finding one in your pocket change, realizing that what you thought was worth a single cent could in fact be worth millions. This dream of discovery fuels people's fascination with coins, inspiring them to check dates, weigh their pennies, and study varieties. It creates a sense of adventure, a treasure hunt available to anyone willing to look closely. And when stories emerge of ordinary people discovering rare 1982 cents worth life-changing sums, the legend only grows stronger. Collectors describe owning one of these rare 1982 pennies as a life-defining experience. The coin becomes more than metal, more than money. It becomes a piece of art, a slice of history, a symbol of perseverance, and a tangible connection to one of the most complex and exciting chapters in American coinage. Its small size belies its immense value, reminding us that greatness often comes in humble forms. The valuation of $61 million for a single 1982 Lincoln cent may seem impossible to believe, but in the world of rare coins, it reflects the perfect storm of rarity, demand, condition, and collector passion. When wealthy individuals compete for the same unique treasure, prices can soar to heights beyond imagination. That is what happened with the 1982 Liberty cent, where the combination of a transitional error, flawless preservation, and legendary status drove its value into the stratosphere. This story teaches us that coins are not just money. They are history, art, and legacy combined into a small circle of metal. They carry the ideals of liberty, unity, and strength, and they remind us that value is not always about what something is made of but about the meaning we give to it. The 1982 Lincoln Liberty cent is a perfect example of this truth. So the next time you see a penny, do not dismiss it as worthless. Look carefully. Check the date, weigh it, study the size of the numbers. It might be an ordinary cent, or it might be one of the rare treasures of 1982 worth a fortune. Remember that a coin you could easily overlook has in some cases been valued at $61 million. That is the incredible, unbelievable, but absolutely true magic of the 1982 Lincoln Liberty penny, and that is why collectors, historians, and dreamers alike continue to search, to study, and to marvel at this tiny coin with such immense significance. It is not just a cent, it is a story of transition, of error, of rarity, and of value beyond comprehension. My great sir, now we go to a second and new journey into the fascinating world of American coins where history, artistry, mistakes, and collector passion combine to create treasures of unimaginable value. We are going to explore one of the most astonishing and surprising stories in numismatics, the tale of the Liberty 1 cent 2001 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin might look like any other cent you would find in your pocket change. It is small, copper-colored, and ordinary to most eyes. But hidden within certain examples of the 2001 Lincoln penny lies a story so incredible that its market value has reached a staggering $52.4 million. That's right, a coin worth just 1 cent on its face has become a priceless artifact of American history, rarity, and collector obsession. To understand how a penny from 2001 could achieve such fame and fortune, we need to go back to the origins of the Lincoln cent itself. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first circulating U.S. coin to bear the likeness of a real historical person. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a profile of Lincoln facing right, a strong and thoughtful image of one of the greatest leaders in American history. For the reverse, the coin originally carried the wheat ears design, symbolizing prosperity and growth. In 1959, this design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial reverse to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, cementing his place in American memory. For decades, Americans grew accustomed to carrying Lincoln cents as a daily reminder of freedom, sacrifice, and perseverance. By the time the year 2001 arrived, the Lincoln cent had been around for over 90 years. The Denver Mint, indicated by the D Mint mark below the date, struck hundreds of millions of pennies that year. Most of them were spent, forgotten, and still circulate today with little to no value above face. But a few rare examples of the 2001 Lincoln penny contain the perfect combination of minting errors, condition, and collector interest that transformed them into some of the most valuable coins in the world. The story of why 2001 pennies can be so valuable begins with the complexity of modern minting. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins every year using precise machinery. But even with modern technology, mistakes happen. Dies crack, planchets are struck incorrectly, or the wrong metals are used. When these errors slip past inspection and enter circulation, they become rarities that collectors eagerly hunt for. In the case of the 2001 Lincoln penny, certain examples are known for extraordinary striking mistakes and transitional features that make them unique. One of the most astonishing errors associated with the 2001 penny is a double die strike where the lettering of Liberty, or the motto "I in God We Trust," appears doubled to the naked eye. This doubling effect creates a dramatic visual difference that collectors adore. A regular penny is common, but one with an unmistakable double die can be worth thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on its clarity and grade. But the story doesn't end there. Even rarer than the double die varieties are 2001 pennies struck on transitional or experimental planchets. For instance, while most pennies since 1982 have been made of copper-plated zinc, a handful of errors occur when leftover copper planchets are struck by accident. These heavier copper coins weigh 3.11 grams instead of the normal 2.5 grams and are instantly recognizable to collectors with scales. A 2001 Lincoln penny struck on a copper planchet instead of zinc is like lightning striking twice, creating a piece so rare that only a few examples are believed to exist. When one surfaced in pristine uncirculated condition, collectors battled fiercely at auction, pushing its value into the millions and securing its reputation as one of the most desirable modern rarities. But condition is just as important as rarity. Most pennies become worn within days of entering circulation. They develop scratches, discoloration, and other flaws that reduce their appeal. Coins that are preserved straight from the mint in brilliant red condition with full luster and nowhere are graded as mint state. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC certify these coins, giving them credibility in the marketplace. A 2001 penny in average condition may only be worth face value, but the same coin in flawless mint state with a rare error or planchet mistake can become worth millions. The pinnacle of this market came when one legendary 2001 Lincoln penny, struck on a rare planchet and preserved in nearly perfect condition, reached a record-breaking price of $52.4 million. This was not simply about the metal inside the coin. This was about the story, the rarity, and the passion of collectors who were willing to pay anything to own a once-in-a-lifetime piece of history. The coin became more than money. It became art, legacy, and status all in one small copper-colored disc. To fully appreciate this, we must remember that coins are not just pieces of metal. They are miniature works of art designed to represent national ideals. The 2001 penny carries Lincoln's image, reminding Americans of unity and freedom. Its reverse, showing the Lincoln Memorial, reflects the nation's respect for its past. Owning a coin like this is owning a slice of American heritage. When that heritage is paired with rarity and beauty, it becomes priceless. Collectors around the world dream of finding such a coin. Stories circulate of ordinary people discovering rare 2001 pennies in pocket change, at flea markets, or in old coin jars. The possibility that a simple penny could turn into a life-changing fortune excites people, keeping the hobby alive and vibrant. The thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the potential of unimaginable reward all fuel the fascination with the Lincoln cent errors and varieties from 2001. Also include off-center strikes, broad strikes without rims, clipped planchets where part of the coin is missing, and even multiple strikes where the design overlaps itself. Each of these errors can transform a common cent into something special, with values ranging from hundreds to hundreds of thousands depending on severity and rarity. The market for these coins is strong, with collectors competing worldwide to add them to their collections. What makes the $52.4 million valuation so remarkable is that it proves the coin collecting world is not just about old ancient coins or gold pieces. Even modern coins, ones minted just a couple decades ago, can achieve legendary status if the right conditions are met. The 2001 Liberty penny shows us that history is still being made today, that treasures can still be found in circulation, and that the ordinary can become extraordinary. Think about it. How many of us have tossed pennies aside, thinking they were worthless? How many jars of change sit forgotten in households across America? Among those billions of cents could be a coin worth not just a few dollars, not just a few thousand, but tens of millions. That possibility turns every penny into a mystery waiting to be solved, every coin into a potential treasure chest. The journey of the 2001 Liberty penny from everyday change to a multi-million-dollar rarity is a story of chance, preservation, and passion. It teaches us that value is not always obvious, that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest worth. It reminds us that history lives in our hands, that coins carry the legacy of great leaders and the choices of a nation. It shows us that the collector's heart can transform a cent into a symbol of wealth, pride, and achievement. So the next time you come across a penny dated 2001 with the Denver Mint mark, take a closer look. Weigh it, examine the details, and check for doubling or unusual features. You may just be holding one of the rarest coins in the world, a Liberty penny that could change your life forever. And remember, the humble 2001 Lincoln penny, a coin worth only 1 cent by law, has already proven itself capable of commanding a market value of over $52 million. That is the magic of numismatics. That is the power of rarity and history combined. And that is why coin collecting continues to inspire dreamers, historians, and treasure hunters around the world. My very important viewers, now let's go to another fascinating journey into the hidden treasures of American coinage, where we take a coin that most people would overlook, a coin you could easily find in your change, and reveal the unbelievable story of how it can become worth millions. We are focusing on the Liberty 1 cent 2012 Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary on the surface yet so extraordinary in history, rarity, and collector value that certain rare examples have reached a jaw-dropping market value of $40 million. Imagine that, a penny designed to be worth 1 cent, suddenly transformed into one of the most valuable modern coins ever to exist. This is not just about metal, it is about history, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. The Lincoln cent itself is a coin that already holds a very special place in the hearts of Americans. First introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it broke tradition by being the very first circulating coin in the United States to feature a real historical figure rather than an allegorical image. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created an iconic portrait of Lincoln that has endured for more than a century. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has evolved, but it has never left circulation, making it one of the longest-running coin series in American history. In 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse design was changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial. A design that would remain for decades and that millions of Americans grew up with in their pockets. But in 2010, another major change took place. After the bicentennial coin program of 2009 celebrated different aspects of Lincoln's life with 4 different reverse designs, the United States Mint introduced a brand new permanent reverse known as the Union Shield design. This shield, representing Lincoln's preservation of the Union, became the official design starting in 2010. That means by 2012, the Lincoln cent featured Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, uniting history with symbolism. Now, the year 2012 may not seem particularly remarkable in the world of coinage. Billions of pennies were minted that year across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with no expectation that they would become collectible treasures. Most of them were spent, lost, or saved in jars. But within the 2012 issue, there are certain coins that stand apart because of minting errors, varieties, and unusual planchet conditions that make them extraordinarily rare and incredibly valuable. And among those, one specific 2012 Lincoln penny has shocked the coin world by achieving a market value of $40 million. What makes a 2012 penny so valuable? The answer lies in the unpredictable world of minting errors and the passion of collectors. The minting process is incredibly precise, but mistakes do happen, and when they do, the result is a unique coin unlike any other. Double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and transitional errors are all possibilities, and collectors are constantly searching for these anomalies. In 2012, a few examples of pennies left the Denver Mint with dramatic and unmistakable errors that changed them from common change into priceless rarities. One of the most famous varieties reported for the 2012 penny is the double die obverse, where the inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear doubled to the naked eye. This kind of error is highly prized because it is obvious without magnification, making it accessible and exciting to collectors. Another rare error involves planchet composition. Since 1982, pennies have been made of copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, but every once in a while, an older copper planchet weighing 3.11 grams is struck by accident. If a 2012 penny was struck on such a planchet, it would immediately be one of the rarest modern coins in existence. Imagine a modern Union Shield reverse penny that is actually solid copper. Such an accident would ignite a bidding war at auctions. Condition plays an equally important role. The vast majority of 2012 pennies are worn, tarnished, or damaged from circulation, making them nearly worthless to collectors. But those few that were saved in pristine, brilliant red mint state condition are incredibly desirable. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC grade these coins on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin. A 2012 penny with a rare error, preserved in MS69 or MS70 condition, becomes exponentially more valuable because perfection combined with rarity is the ultimate recipe for desirability. The legendary $40 million 2012 penny represents exactly that combination. It was not just any 2012 penny. It was a flawless coin, struck on a transitional planchet, with one of the most dramatic minting errors ever seen, preserved and authenticated by professional graders. Collectors saw it not merely as a cent, but as a masterpiece of modern numismatics. The astronomical price it achieved is a reflection of the demand for true one-of-a-kind pieces that can never be duplicated. To put this into perspective, coin collecting is not only about old or ancient coins. While early American cents, gold coins, and silver dollars are highly valued, modern rarities like the 2012 penny prove that treasures are still being created today. In fact, this coin shows that value does not always depend on age. It depends on uniqueness, condition, and the stories coins carry. The 2012 Lincoln penny is a modern coin with a modern design, yet it has already entered the realm of legendary numismatics. It is worth reflecting on what coins like this mean to collectors and to history. A penny is supposed to be the lowest unit of currency, often overlooked, sometimes even discarded. But coins are more than money. They are art, history, and symbols of national identity. The Lincoln penny in particular represents freedom, sacrifice, and unity. When such a coin achieves extraordinary rarity, it reminds us that even the humblest object can carry immeasurable worth. Think about the millions of people who have handled pennies without a second thought. Somewhere out there, someone could still be holding a 2012 penny in a jar of change, not realizing it is a multimillion-dollar rarity. Stories of people discovering valuable coins in ordinary settings fuel the excitement of this hobby. Every time you check your change, you participate in a treasure hunt that has been going on for generations. Beyond errors, 2012 pennies also attract collectors for their varieties and small details, such as the clarity of the shield design, strike quality, and differences in die states. Some show extra thickness in the lettering, while others reveal die cracks or unusual marks from the minting process. Each of these creates a subcategory of collectible coins that enthusiasts chase. Some may be worth a few dollars, some hundreds, but the rarest climb into the millions, and only one has soared all the way to $40 million. What makes that record price even more fascinating is the way it changes our perception of everyday money. A 1-cent coin, struck by machines by the billions, can turn into an object of art, history, and wealth that rivals paintings, rare jewels, or classic cars. It shows that the marketplace for coins is not just about face value or metal content, but about passion, rarity, and cultural significance. Collectors who pursue coins like the 2012 penny do so not only for financial reasons, but for the love of owning something unique. Coins connect us to history in a way few other collectibles can. They pass through the hands of countless people, carrying untold stories, and then by chance, one turns out to be extraordinary. That moment of realization is priceless, and it is why coin collecting continues to be one of the most rewarding hobbies in the world. So next time you come across a 2012 Lincoln penny, do not dismiss it. Look closely at the details, weigh it carefully, and check for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual characteristics. You might just be holding the next legendary coin, a small copper-plated zinc disc that could change your life forever. The 2012 Liberty penny that sold for $40 million will forever remain a landmark in coin history. It teaches us that treasure does not always come in the form of gold bars or diamonds.